Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night News with Going Now. I'm Joe Compton,
And I'm Katie Salidas.
and welcome to the show. Tonight, we are talking to all of you out there, and there's some people out there already. So, yay! Nice to see everybody. Rebecca, Maddie, Anita, all out there. So, yeah, send us your questions while you're out there hanging with us, and we'll answer as many as come in and as time allots, and we'll have a good old fashioned AMA fun time with everybody. It's nice to see everybody and nice to celebrate, even though Katie and I were just talking about how time flies, and it is, I can't believe it's almost 2021's almost over.
Can you believe that?
2022 is here, and it's crazy, insane. And it's just going to get more crazy and insane. And
All right, I got a question for you. Let's
Yeah.
start this off. Can I do a question even though I'm not in the audience, or should I
Yeah.
type it into the
No,
into the chat?
don't be stupid.
All right, because we're coming to the end of the year.
Yeah.
So you've been running Go Indie now for a long time.
Yeah.
And every year, I'm sure you set yourself goals, things you want to accomplish with Go Indie now.
Yeah.
So what is your biggest achievement this year with Go Indie now?
My biggest achievement was getting this show going. This show was something that you and I had talked about for a couple years, I think, and I had mentioned it for a long time that I wanted to do a news show, and it was just a matter of getting the right person to co-anchor with me and figure it out and how to do it and what format worked for it and everything. I think we've done a pretty good job, and I think the monthly thing kind of works because I don't think there's a lot of news that we could cover weekly, even though we've kind of had laps, and then when we have had laps, we've had to double back and cover some things that happened during that time. But even then, I thought we've always had an hour to talk about stuff and really pack stuff in, and I really no. Seriously, this is, and I know because I'm on here and we're talking now that everybody might think I'm blowing smoke up Katie's ass and everybody out there, but no, this was the show that I had my eye on trying to get done for the last couple years, and now that we've done it for 13 months. I mean, we really started this in 2020. We did our first show in December of 2020, but I really feel like this was the brainchild of 2021. Really, we really found our footing and did that, and I think that was the most important thing that I've accomplished here. How about you? What's something that you feel like you've accomplished in 2020?
Yeah, no, I love this show. I gotta like backtrack here a bit and talk about, like, you said that we don't really ever have a problem filling the hour, and I find that that's really true, because even when you and I during the pre-show we're collaborating on what we're going to research for the week or whatever, we always have more than we can deal with. And it's never been a problem, even if it's like a last minute, oh my God, I didn't do my homework this week. We've always been able to find more than enough to fill that hour, and
or we have
really enjoyable.
Or we have breaking news literally that day when the Spotify thing happened. That was that day that happened. So I mean, we got lucky, but I mean, that's cool that happens, that we were able to pivot and put that in there, because that was not that show. That was not our lead going into it. In fact, we were struggling to find a lead for it, and then that happened literally that morning, and I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what we're going to talk about." All right, so
Right?
yeah,
And question for the audience though too. For those of you who are watching now, and for those of you who will catch this later, make sure you put your answers in the comments so we can hear it. Have you found the information to be useful? And was there a story this year that really made you go, "Oh my God"?
yeah, nice. That's a great question.
Because I mean, we do try to come up with things that are
Kind of
going to be
segues
important for
into our
you.
kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about with you too,
Uh-oh.
and my question, which was, 2021. What do you? And I know the answer to this question already because I know you. But what do you feel like was the most important story for you this year? What do you think was the story that you really thought really made 2021?
That's hard because there have been a lot that have actually been really important.
Hmm.
Following audiobooks in general, because that branches off into so many different areas, the
Sure.
Audible Gate stuff, Findaway Voices, what's been going on with them, and Spotify. That really changes the landscape, not to mention the fact that AI is becoming a possibility for audiobooks. So there's so many things tying into audiobooks that I didn't realize how big audiobooks were going to be. And over the course of 2021, we have seen more changes in audio than we have with any other book format.
Hmm. Awesome. And
How about
Regine
you?
said, oh yeah, let me get to that. And I'll say that in a second. But Regine says, "Oh, great stuff!" And all the twists and turns of Audible Gate were super interesting. Awesome. Yeah, that's good. I think Audible Gate was important, but I think it also kind of weaned as we got further into the year, and nothing was really happening with it.
That's
I think the
because it
most,
takes a while to build, though. I
yeah,
mean,
of course,
legal battles against Amazon. I mean, you're
yeah,
literally going up against the biggest company out there.
yeah.
You
Well,
can't, nothing's gonna happen fast.
Well, I think the most important thing that happened in 2021 that I think is going to lead into my predictions in 2022, which we'll get to a little bit later, is the idea that these big dogs are not alone in the yard anymore. I think people are looking for ways to get involved into this business, and it only helps us indies that we have more options and more choices. And I think what has happened with the antitrust lawsuits and then the big five trying to become the big four and them getting kind of stymied, I think, and then it's paved the way. That particular antitrust lawsuit has paved the way for how monopolies like studios in Hollywood studios and filmmaking um, terms are looking at how they're going to approach it. I mean, you can't have the Sony AOL mergers anymore because if you do that, it's just going to get you're going to get an antitrust lawsuit with the current administration, and it's going to go through a bunch of hoops and fires. And I think we need to put people to task a little bit. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't have the answer to that, and I don't want to get into political discussions about that. But I do feel like that is super important for what our world is about to experience because I think more options, more choices is always a good thing for indies. So
Yeah, the conglomeration of the book world is not a good thing, just as with any company.
yeah,
Anytime the companies chew up other companies and envelop them, you don't ever get good results. You
I
have
think
to
in some
have
cases,
diversity and creativity to flourish. You've gotta
yeah.
have different avenues. You can't just, one and done.
Yeah. I think in some cases it's good because some of them flounder and you like the idea of them, but sometimes they have the ones that kind of flounder because they weren't run right or they were mismanaged but they have great ideas behind them, and you
Sure.
have a company that's doing something similar that picks that up because it's going to help their business. I think that in that case I don't mind it as much. I mean, but when you're talking about
See,
two
but that's a
companies,
slippery slope though,
it
because
is totally
you
slippery.
allow it to a point, but if you don't draw a hard line, then we end up with what we've got, where we've got a company like Amazon who is so big and just chewing up so much of the market. They own 80% of the print market, the ebook market, and I think the last number was 40 to 50% of Audible or audio right now. So they are really like the biggest game out there, and it's
Yeah.
hard to go against them because they have enveloped so many other companies in order to be able to be that big in those different areas.
Well, and it used to be the ones that were going against them kind of were like fly swats on their windshield, and
Yeah.
but that's changing, and I think that's a good thing for the better for sure. And you know,
But here's
I
the question.
yeah,
Is the Spotify Find a Way Voices merger going to be a good thing ultimately? Or is it
that's-
going to cause more problems? Because we already know Spotify has issues of its own,
yeah.
but it is able to take on Amazon. So it's like, oh, which one do you back at this point?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it. Right, if Spotify can fire a warning shot or fire something that cripples them or hurts Amazon a little bit, just a little bit, that opens the door for real good competition to kind of creep its way in and take it down. I don't think Spotify is going to be the one that takes it down, and if it does, it's just going to replace it with being another evil empire. So it's like one evil empire replacing the other. But I do think that if they can fire a warning shot, cripple them a little bit, then that will allow for the little guys to kind of come in and pick at the bones a bit and kind of make their way. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough any way you look at it because Amazon is so huge and
And
Spotify
that's
is
the
getting
thing.
so huge. And yeah,
For everyone who wants to, champion capitalism, well, that capitalism only works when there's competition.
yeah,
When there's not competition and there's not equal footing competition, if you get somebody who's drastically overpowered, there is no real competition.
yeah,
So yeah, you're right. They need to not only fire the warning shot, across the bow there, they need to actually provide real legitimate competition that
yeah,
forces Amazon to play ball.
yeah.
I
And
know we're mixing metaphors now, but
well, no, that's totally fine. But and also one of those things that does too is then Amazon kind of comes back to what its strengths are, and maybe we get the better version of Amazon or something to that effect. I mean, I don't think that will ever happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm just dreaming here now, but
I want to live in that world.
you're
Jeez.
right. You know, I do too. But Rebecca says your continuing coverage and explanation of
Oh,
Audible Gate
thank
was
you.
probably the best. It was so big and well explained and broken down by Katie. Awesome. Yeah.
Hey, and the only reason it was so well explained is because honestly, the team that is doing Audible Gate, that is bringing all the information together and fighting the good fight, they provide plenty of good explanation so that I could, regurgitate it to you guys
Yeah.
in a smaller format. So really, the kudos goes to them because they're the ones doing the hard work. I'm just helping to bring the awareness a little bit.
And I was very lucky because one of the shows that I was on as a co-host of Spilling Ink, we had one of the Audible Gate founding members there, and she spoke so eloquently. If you haven't seen that, if you haven't heard that show, you guys need to go back and check that
She's
show
a
out.
forensic accountant on the
Yeah,
the side of being an author, so she knew her shit, and it was great hearing her explain all of it and really break the
yeah,
numbers down. Oh my god.
yeah. She
Bow
put up
down to
with
people who can do all that.
yeah, she put up with all my stupid questions too. So
There's no stupid questions when it comes to really getting people to understand that, because that's the thing. Nobody was understanding what was going on until the glitch in, it was 2019, October 2019, that revealed the problem. And then everyone started to slowly figure it out.
hmm
And that's when Audible Gate, started really getting going, because without that glitch, nobody was aware of what was going on. And it was happening right under all of our noses.
hmm yeah. So I hope I never get a warning from Joe. Okay.
I don't know why I have the like spaceballs in my head where he's like, he said fire, or was it fire the warning shot across his nose, not up it.
How awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, anybody have any questions for us? I mean,
Yeah, let's see, get some audience interaction here. I know we got them in the chat box there. I can see it kind of pinging.
yeah, we'd love to.
That's been
We'd love.
another thing too. The audience participation element of the show, I think, is unique because
Yeah.
not a lot of news shows do that, and
Yeah.
we really take that time to break and see what's going on, find out if there's any questions, so that we can go deeper if we need to, or we can, pick up on a thread that they're talking about. So I think that was one unique element we brought to it, and I
Yeah.
definitely think we need to make sure that continues.
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. I think our I think we're all kind of in the same circles, in the same communities, and so it's nice that the community has a voice to talk about that stuff, and hopefully we are that voice to a certain extent for people, and we can talk
And
and
speaking of community, can we talk about CL Cannon? I
yeah,
love her videos. Like, every
yeah,
time she posts a video, she's got great information.
yeah.
She's very concise. It's always useful. It's always up to date. She's even taught me a few things. And, we've been in this business for a long time. You think, yeah, everything's old hat. No, she brings stuff up that's like, wow, I never thought of that. Or, oh my God, why wasn't I doing that? So I really enjoy her marketing segments.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, we've got another one coming up. She did her own Q&A as well.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, so
And I love her branding is the whole car video thing. It's always weird when I don't see her in the car. I just
well, get ready, it's changing actually.
no,
Yeah,
no,
well,
that's her
she might do
thing.
she might do the marketing thing from the car, but for the Indie Connection, she's actually setting up a studio. So
Wow,
she's gonna
well,
be
good for
doing
her.
she's gonna be doing stuff from a different thing, from a different place. So in fact her last one was from she had a Merry Christmas up and everything like that from the last one. So
Aw.
Car Lady Cannon, CL Cannon, yeah. All right. Anita says, was there any news from this year that you thought would be big but fizzled?
Ooh, that's a tough one. We've covered so many stories, and usually we kind of handpick the stories because they're important enough to
Mhm,
be talked about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. If we wanted to just post news every day, we probably could with just the random stuff that comes out.
mhm,
But we tend to pick stories that are going to be meaningful,
mhm,
indie related,
mhm,
important to the audience that we know is
mhm,
interacting with us and following us. So really, I don't think any of the stories that we talked about were duds or didn't really pan out. I think they might have been ongoing stories. They might have been stuff that
mhm.
needed to be built on, but nothing's really coming to mind that I would say is really kind of fizzled out.
There was one for me that I think I was hoping to have more on that didn't lead to anything because it pretty much won itself, and that was the union thing with the theater folks and unionizing and putting that together and trying because COVID kind of leveled off a little bit for people to start coming back to some kind of normal. And so in doing so, the unions became more effective because they were getting back to work and having doing that. I think everybody was like, okay, yeah, we'll give you what you want. We want to open theaters back up. So, and that kind of just fizzled the whole fight story out. And so I was kind of hoping that kind of like that would be my audible gate, but it didn't happen. So,
We're
but
glad that went the way it did. We want happy endings.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. No, and I'm glad that yeah, for sure. I'm glad that people are getting back to work and being able to do that because that's important. So, you know.
The supply chain issue is an interesting one, and I learned later on that, companies like Amazon and Walmart were circumventing the traditional supply chains by chartering their own ships and using different size ships to go to different ports that were maybe further away, but were less crowded, so they could keep their shipping lines going. So where, like, Ingram had problems with shipping, Amazon was still able to do it. So if you were in KDP, you were able to pretty much get your books without problems.
With pre-made goods, not goods that had to be
Yeah.
made. Yeah, that they could get from other places that they could ship to it. Yes, that was the case. That's how they solved the toilet paper fiasco. They were able to find it somewhere else and bring it in, and they were able to do that privately. There's a whole thing about politically about how horrible that all is because it was their reasoning for not paying people again, but and
Uh-huh.
firing people, but otherwise, but yeah, I mean, you, we can't live without the Zon apparently, so but that's how it goes. So I mean, you got to run your business, so I don't fault them for that idea, but. Rebecca says, "Have you found a topic you couldn't talk about because it was too complex or fit into the show?" Yes,
Yes.
Katie will remember this one.
Uh-oh.
I wanted to talk about uh the um trying to think of what exactly was said in it, but I wanted to talk about how the newsletters, the algorithms were changing, and how there was some math equations being done that were producing better results for marketing purposes, and newsletters were a part of that. Like an email chain kind of idea, and Katie's like, I don't even we can't explain this. And we tried to break it down and it didn't work, and it was like, and like we can't have people doing math on our show. They'll leave us.
When I'm looking at Joe going, explain this to me like a 5-year-old. Okay, now explain it to me like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, we talked about that one for about a week. So that was the one that and I actually took it on and brought it into This Week in Indies, and I got the exact reaction Katie said I would, which is, huh? Nobody understood it, and it was
I'm
like,
glad I'm
well,
not the
actually,
only one.
well, no, actually, so I think Josh Pantelleresco was on that show, and he and I were talking about it for like 5 minutes because he got it. But then it was interesting to him, and so then we talked about it for like 5 minutes, and then we were losing everybody, so I switched the topics and moved it all around. But yeah, that was the one. I think that, I mean, there's been ones that we've both pitched to each other and gone, well, is it really that important? But we've always kind of squeezed those in, even when we didn't think that. So
Yeah, going back to the beginning when we said we've always got stuff to fill in, we've had to cut,
hmm
full blown, like we've researched and written our little,
hmm
Cliff Notes articles to read. We've had to cut a lot of them because we just didn't have the time to fit them all in.
and for a little behind the scenes and a little how the sausage is made kind of thing. That's why we stopped doing the promos, because I was when we were doing the promos, we were previewing what we were going to talk about, and then that month we didn't talk about two of the stories that we had previewed in the promo. So we decided that we didn't need the promos anymore because we don't know that we're going to not talk about some things sometimes, or so we were like, let's not do a promo and promise people something that we're not going to deliver. So we
We
stopped
need to
doing
do
that.
a generic promo where you just throw buzzwords
Hi,
at the screen. Like,
hi,
we
we're
introduce
live.
ourselves and then just throw buzzwords at the screen. Just have them flying at the screen and then finish off with, we'll see you at whatever day. There you go.
Yeah, so that's how that happened. But I do see one of your questions, Rebecca. But we're going to actually do predictions at the end of this show. And I would love to, while I mention that, I would love to have everybody in the chat also think about a prediction that they want to make for 2022. What might be the biggest news story, or what you think might we be talking about come 2022? That's just something we're going to save for the end of the show, though. So I do appreciate that question, and we will, and I'll direct it directly toward Audible Gate as well at the end. So, but she does say, "Have you found that doing the news shows cuts into your writing time?" This is for me. This is kind of a soft little, cattle prod at me a little bit. I
Do
think
you owe Rebecca something?
I do. Yes, we've talked
Uh-oh.
about it. Yeah. Um, No, I mean, everything is managed the way I've always managed it. So I don't change that ever. If I have something new, I just work it into it. So that's how I massage it in. I don't know for Katie, but for me, that's never been an issue. And we've had this conversation before, Rebecca. It's about, for me, it's about when I'm feeling the rhythm of writing. Sometimes if I feel like I'm just sitting there and not being able to write, or I'm looking at it and going, I can't really think about this right now, especially when it comes to edits, when I'm being asked to describe something and I go, oh man, I don't think I can get into that headspace right now. I will just go on to do something else. That's kind of how I approach it. So, you know, but that's how, since you've already done the homework. Oh, smash like and subscribe. Yeah.
I think I saw a comment about should we post them as a blog, especially if we've written out our little scripts and maybe we didn't cover them. Yeah, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and I do usually send Joe my write-ups, which
Yep.
include links. So I mean, it's not impossible as long as there's a space to do it on.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I really do want to set, because I get, for people who don't know, again, behind the scenes a little bit for me, I get sent press releases on a daily by the dozens, from indie music, indie films, and I wanna have some place to publish them, but I don't really want to put them on social media and just publish them there, because that's not the point of those. That's not what they wanted you to do anyway. So I want, Katie and I have actually talked about this before, about having a website where we do post the press releases and newses and things, news of that nature, and that's something that, yeah, I will be doing in the future. It's just, you know,
Time and space.
not yet, but we'll get there. I promise. And Rebecca says this is for Katie too. She still owes me the next book in her series, not as a publisher or anything, but as a devoted reader of her works.
Oh, I know I need to finish that book someday.
Then Maddie backs me up. She says you can't push creativity. That's my motto. And then Rebecca says, but I can try.
Yeah, you can't push creativity until you're being paid for it. I've learned that lesson this year. You can push creativity very far when you're being paid for it, and it will burn you out.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I look. It's tough, right? I mean, you have to manage so many things, and for me, this is a book that I wrote nearly 20 years ago now. I mean, I published it 15 years ago now. No, 11 years, 12 years ago now. But the first time, but I had been writing it long before then, and so going back to it, and then having, what I was discovering was I was becoming a better writer, right? So when I'm just kind of putting band-aids on gushing wounds, I really feel like I should just do the whole tourniquet and just, I want I there's been so many times when I just wanted to delete the whole page and rewrite the whole thing,
Oh.
because
Well,
I just
that's
feel
not
like it's so much better. I'm so much better now at what I'm doing. So, you know, and Rebecca and I have had those conversations too. But yeah.
one of the things I do, especially when I'm working on client work, is I usually copy over that chapter that I'm working on into its
Hmm.
own document, and I will do all the cutting, pasting, rewriting, whatever there, and
Hmm.
see if I like it before I bring it back into the original document. That way, you're not destroying anything, you're not getting rid of anything, but you're allowing yourself to see the old and the new side by side.
Well, I have the published book, so I can do
It's
that right away.
different when you're working on it in an
Yeah,
actual, like,
true. That's very true. You're right.
editable format.
Yeah.
When you read it
Yeah.
on the
No.
page, it feels permanent. When you're looking at it in like an editable format side by side, and you can actually compare your old versus your new, sometimes it sparks something.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of going back to the whole social media thing that we talked about a second ago, I want to know, what is your least favorite social media? Because mine has changed in the last year.
And I want to caveat this. Okay, it's Instagram, but it's because I got to do it on my fucking phone, and that is the only reason why I don't like Instagram. Because, and I know there's sites out there you could do it on the computer, but it's not the same. I've actually, when you can post videos now, you can do it from your computer, but I feel like I'm not getting the full scope of Instagram, where I'm being successful or effective, because I can look things up through my phone, and when I type in, a smart type, it gives me, like, how, if I'm doing a hashtag, for example, it gives me how many people have actually posted with that hashtag. Am I wasting my time if I'm using this hashtag, kind of thing? It doesn't do that on the computer. It does that on my phone. So, but typing, like, look, big fat fingers. It is super hard to type an incredibly poignant point in the description and do all the hashtags and all that when I have this sausage rolls for fingers, and so it's very difficult. It's a pain in the ass. Not only that, but then I've got to take the fucking picture download it to my phone, and then upload it to Instagram. And I got to keep it on there for a couple days because Instagram has lost a couple pictures of mine before, and so I know I have to. So I got to put it back in Drive and all. So for me, that is the most difficult. That's why don't see me post very often on Instagram as much as I should be doing it daily, and I like it. I like the format. I like the idea of it, but it's just so difficult, so time consuming. I mean, TikToks are time consuming too, but I don't consider TikToks as much of a marketing tool for me as I just have fun there. I like having it's like my escape route. It's like my playroom. So I don't worry too much about that. But Instagram's a marketing tool for me, and that is really tough. So
Let me follow up that question with how much do you think social media is really helping with the marketing? Because I feel like a lot of social media's algorithms are really skewed against individuals. If you aren't there every single day, multiple times a day on whichever platform you choose, that platform becomes worthless to you because you're not hitting the algorithms. And if you do focus on one platform over another, if you've picked the wrong platform for your genre, then
mhm.
it's useless to you because you're not hitting the right people. So it seems like it's almost more problematic than it is a help.
Well, the way they're designed is they want you to pay for that. That's what they're designed for, right? I mean, they want
Mhm.
they want to help you get seen only if you pay them to do
Right.
that. But yeah, it's tough. It's a tough because you also don't want to overwhelm people. Like I have the internal guilt of like I'm just keep posting go indie now stuff, and you know people can mute me and block me, and I would never know that, and I'm sure there's tons of those out there, but so am I just posting for not kind of thinking in my head for that reason, but I also think it has helped. So I don't, and it hasn't helped in the bunches and bunches of droves that I've wanted it to help, but it's helped every once in a while get one or two people here, and then you know the problem that I have with social media is not me posting; it's all the people that I'm working with and helping that don't post it back or don't put
Uh,
it up there again. That's where I get frustrated.
Preaching to the choir.
You know, people just people don't want to, like I said, don't want to overwhelm their audience with their own stuff. They don't want to talk about their own stuff. It looks self-aggrandizing. But if you don't, people won't know because they're not going to see my stuff because I don't know your people.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, and I think people underestimate how much people really want to see people doing stuff and being a part of it because I did a poll on the think tank recently about how many people are still looking at YouTube is that their go-to,
Mhm.
and that was the overwhelming was the idea that yeah, that's my rabbit hole, that's where I go. So
Yep.
people are going there.
I voted that.
Why not? Yeah, why not? Why not? They go to your stuff. Everybody will if you just tell them. I mean, you gotta have some faith. You can't just think that everybody sucks. I mean, people suck, but not everybody. You know.
Hey, now you're stealing my stuff now.
Yeah. No, uh, and I've heard about I should get with you, Anita, because you may be able to help me with it a little bit more. I would love to be able to do them. That's why I'm constantly on Facebook and Twitter because I can do it right from my computer, and I can do it from any computer, which I'm very happy to do as well. So
I used to hate Twitter. Now Twitter has actually become my sanctuary.
share
And
people
it
share. I
was
do
it's because I changed the way I viewed Twitter too.
that.
Facebook has become just hell.
Yeah,
The algorithms are against you. It doesn't matter where you post or when you post, they decide when people will see it.
yeah,
So it's almost useless to post on Facebook. It doesn't matter. I've got like 3 pages plus a group plus a personal page. I could post to all of them at the same time. Maybe 2 or 3 people that I know will see it, and it becomes frustrating and annoying. Meanwhile, I get served an ad every 3 things on my news feed, and so I got sick and tired of it. And I would go to Twitter as just I'm going to blow off steam and just screw around. I'm not going to post anything really professional. I'm going to be stupid and goofy and respond to stupid and goofy stuff. And I've had so much more fun
See,
just
that's
being stupid and goofy on
yeah.
Twitter.
And that's TikTok for me. You know, uh, I could easily grow my channel on TikTok and do all the things you're supposed to do with that, but I'm cool with it being very minimal people. And literally, I have like two or three people that we're sending videos to each other every day and talking about it and then doing the stupid challenges that they have on there and I'm just having fun at it. I don't look at it as, I mean, I do post going in and out stuff on there, but it's just like it's almost an afterthought for me at that point,
I
So
think that's what we've been missing, especially those of us who have been, in the business for so long, where we know we have to use these things. We've used them as a utility for so long, we forgot to have fun with them.
Mhm.
And finding that place to go to have fun really makes it worth having social media again.
Well, you know what makes this show worth having? It's CL Cannon,
Yes.
and she's got an incredible Ask Me Anything segment here. We're gonna jump right into that, and then we'll come back and answer more questions, and we'll make our predictions. So everybody, get ready. We're gonna make all our predictions. I want to hear from the chat. What your predictions for 20? What do you think is going to be the biggest story in 2022? What do you think we're going to be talking about mostly in 2022? So get ready for that and enjoy CL Cannon in the meantime.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you your monthly marketing tip. And this time I have some of your questions that you asked me. We're doing an Ask Me Anything. Okay, the first question is, what is the best way to market if you have no money for ads? So cross-marketing with other authors is probably the most creative and effective way to market on a budget, or if you have no budget. This can be like newsletter swaps, asking to pop into somebody's reader group and share your new release, or a cover reveal or something. And there's also book bub swaps. You can participate in launch parties, like Facebook parties. You can even ask other people to share your book or your book release, a photo of your book, a cover reveal, a title reveal. That's becoming really popular lately. And most authors they're happy to help you. It's kind of a give and take thing. You help them and they'll help you, and vice versa. And yeah, that's probably the easiest way is cross marketing. There's also a few free newsletter sites and things like that out there, but usually the most effective way to market without a budget is asking other people to help you. Okay, our next question is, outside of TikTok, what social media platform do you find gets the best marketing results for you? This is a tricky question, and it generally depends on your genre and the level of comfort that you have on that platform, and the general age group of your target audience. I personally perform best on Instagram. I write YA, fantasy, and sci-fi, so Instagram is a really visual platform, and that age group really likes visual things like videos, reels, and pretty photos of books and things like that. But if you were writing mystery, thriller, or a genre that tends to kind of trend more toward an older audience, then Facebook is probably the best platform for that. So basically, you want to go where your audience is and where you feel the most comfortable. And the more that you work on a platform, the more consistent you are, the better that platform will perform for you. Okay, our next question is, does social media sell books, or is it just for reader engagement? Would you suggest putting ad money into Amazon, BookBub, or social media ads? I think it does both. Social media snags readers, and it helps them feel more connected to authors, which can lead to more sales. That's what all your social media should be about, is connecting to other authors and other readers and trying to catch their attention. TikTok is doing a great job of this right now. There's been a lot of studies about how much it's helping authors sell very well. It's getting so popular that there are actually sections in stores like bookstores and even in Walmart now that have book talk reads or book talk made me read it. So you can tell that it's very popular and it is very influential right now. As far as ads, I don't really use that many ads myself. But I do know that Facebook ads are not delivering well right now. They're seeing a great increase in the cost it takes to reach people. That's because of Apple and how they are denying Facebook from seeing any data about their users. So I would probably stay away from Facebook for the moment until something else comes about and we see a better click-through rate on that. BookBub featured deals are still worth their weight in gold. So if you can manage to get one of those, it's free to apply and it's definitely worth it. And if you get rejected, don't worry. People get rejected hundreds and hundreds of times sometimes before they get one. And then once they get one, they usually can get another. And they're just wonderful. They sell a lot and they can really help. Their CPC ads, not so much, unless you're doing like a deep discount or some sort of sale, then they can be good. But you also need to make sure you have a great ad graphic. To me, Amazon seems to be the best when it comes to being able to see results. I recommend taking an ad course on Amazon ads so you can get a firm grasp on how to set those up and the best way to stretch your budget for those. There's a lot of great ones out there. I think Mark Dawson does one, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. And there's a whole bunch of other people out there doing all kinds of Amazon courses, mini courses, larger, more involved courses. So find one with reputable reviews and take that, and that will help you with your Amazon ads. Okay, the next question we have is, how would your marketing approach change for a small backlog of 1 to 2 books versus a larger one? And the perma-free model and beyond. You're right, a small budget, it does not lend itself to giving away free book. So you have to be a bit more creative with your marketing. For newsletters, you can offer a free short story. Sometimes people write a short story specifically to be a newsletter magnet. You can offer an excerpt or a deleted scene, a useful blog post sometimes, printable or digital content. For social media, you can offer character profiles, character art, excerpts, or anything that will showcase what is great about your book, great about your characters, and why readers should give it a chance. Honestly, for a short backlist, spending a whole bunch of money is not really wise. You should be spending a minimal amount and more focusing on releasing the next book and growing your audience as organically as you can with all the things I mentioned about, letting them know about your characters, letting them know about you, and why they should read a book. Okay, that's all for me this month, but I'll see you next year when Go Indie Now comes back. And as always, if you have any questions about these marketing tips or any of my previous ones, or you just have a marketing question, you can always email me at info@fiction-atlas.com or hit me up on social media, and I will be there to help you as quickly as I can. Try to either, if I don't know something, point you to the right place where you can find more information and learn how to do whatever you're trying to do. I hope you guys have a lovely holiday season, and I'll see you next year. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you to CL Cannon, as always, for that. That was awesome. She's awesome, and we couldn't be happier. She will be coming back, and we're real excited about all that. So thank you for doing that. So
she's got great advice. I really do.
Totally.
I love her advice.
If you guys missed it, Anita mentioned Brian Cohen for that, and Katie seconds that choice.
He does the class multiple times a year, and it's free. You can't beat the price, and he is very generous with his time. Not only is it a class that he sends out documentation for, but he's got people who are in the group during the class to help answer questions. He does live chats where he again answers questions on multiple platforms. It's really a good deep dive into understanding how Amazon ads work and how best to create the ads so that you're spending less money and making more profit. And one thing that he really kind of pushes and tries to get everybody to understand is it takes time. Slow and steady. You don't go, throwing everything in it all at once. And I think that's the best advice, especially to give to indies, because we, in the early days when we're starting out, we overspend. We blow our budget, and then all of a sudden we have marketing and we're like, what the hell do I do? So learning the slow and steady approach, the low cost approach, figuring out what actually works. If it takes 3, 4, 5 months to get it right, it takes that long to get it right. But when you do get it right, it works. And then you're seeing the profit.
Awesome. Yeah, go check it out. Everybody's saying that the next class starts in January. So yeah, Brian, go check Brian out and what he's doing. That sounds really great. All right. So we're heading toward the finishing line here for 2021. Is there anything you want to say about the show in 2021 before we look ahead a little bit? Do you have any updates or anything you'd like to share with anybody or anything like that?
Updates not right now, unfortunately. Like we said before, when it comes to Audiblegate, which is the one that I've been following as closely as possible, when you're going up against a behemoth, it's going to take forever to get things going. And I know that they were doing the fundraising. They had come up with most of the fundraising last that I had checked. So then it becomes the legal battle. And that, honestly, don't be surprised if it takes another year. I know it sucks when we don't get instant information. We're very much an instant gratification kind of society, but this is a battle worth fighting, and it's worth taking the time to fight it right. So,
and it's got people thinking. I know a lot of authors who have been thinking about, do I go with ACX during this time? Do I not? It's really so it is opened some eyes for sure.
On the back of that, though, too, we talked about it last month. AI is becoming approved by more and more platforms, and that cuts into the cost on the indie side, but it also cuts into the freelancers who are the narrators, who they've got to make their money too. So somebody's getting hurt on either side of the process. And with Audiblegate, kind of squeezing people into different boxes of, am I going to deal with them, or am I going to go with Findaway, Spotify? What are the deals going to be next year? I think right now we're almost even more so in like a Wild West of being an indie author than we were in previous kind of incarnations, because now there's less choice, but within that there is more choice. And it's like, it's a really weird conundrum. Like, what do you do? And if you do this, are you not going to be able to do that? And did you make the right choice here? You're going to fall back and do something else. So we're in a state of, I think the next year is going to be very interesting to see what plays out. Are we going to see audio become an AI dominated market? Are we going to see Spotify actually become a good competition against Amazon that forces Amazon to play ball, which means Audiblegate has a better chance of winning a better verdict in the legal battle? Or are we going to see Amazon completely dominate and put their boot down on the indies? I don't know.
I want to get your take on the storytell angle here, because I sent the article to you, but we haven't had an opportunity to talk about it. We talked about it on This Week in Indies, but I'm curious your thoughts. Does it look like chess pieces being moved into play a little bit? It kind of, to me, and everybody's heard my take on it, it made a lot of sense, and it's starting to dawn on me why Spotify went this direction kind of idea. So,
I don't know, because whenever I speculate, I get it wrong. I like to throw all the angles out there and go, these are different things that are up in the air. We don't know which way it's going to go. But anytime I've ever speculated on things, I tend to be wrong. So
It does
do the opposite of what I say.
Sure. Did it furrow your eyebrow a little bit though? Did you raise your eyebrow a little bit when you saw that?
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how things are going to move going forward. I don't know who's going to make what plays and what it's going to look like. I'm going to stick to the whole, we're in the Wild West right now. We're going to see what happens. And I'm hoping for good things, because, as an indie, we all know this. We are the ones who bear the brunt when it comes to producing all of our work. We have to make the right deals with the right companies, with the right freelancers that we work with to keep our budgets low and our potential to earn our money back.
Yeah.
And
Well, we'll
it's a
see.
rough business to be in right now as an indie.
Yeah. All right. So let's hear your predictions for 2022. What do you think we're going to be talking about this time next year? What do you think our year is going to be consumed by?
I already said audio. Audio is not going away, and it's going to continue to be an evolving marketplace. And I think audio is going to eventually become a very dominant portion of the marketplace. Maybe eventually overtaking ebooks. I think print will always be print. There will always be love for print. But when it comes to ebooks versus audio, it seems like audio has the ability to overtake ebooks because a lot of people are just used to listening these days. You know, they kind of they absorb everything on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never take stock market advice from me because every time I buy a stock, it goes down immediately.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned audio and that idea too, because that's it with AI and everything's growing and but everything's indicating that even with print books, sales are going up. Third quarter was profitable, fourth quarter is profitable. So
Yeah, no, I said print was going to be print. I
Mhm.
don't think it's a battle of print versus ebook or audiobook. I think it's ebook versus audiobook.
Mhm. Do you think one's gonna die?
No, I don't think one will die, but I think one will dominate and
Mhm.
will become the thing that everyone wants to ensure that they're available in. Like right now, it's like a no-brainer. Ebook, of course. Audio has always been that it's gonna cost a little more. I don't know if I can do it. I think by this time next year, we're gonna see a lot more people ebook or audiobook, no-brainer. We're doing this.
Mhm. And Maddie says she's purchased more print as of late than any other. Yeah. Um,
It has
yeah.
some nostalgia to it though too.
Mhm.
Those of us who love books, just love
Yeah.
books, we want the print book. An ebook isn't the same thing. I want my shelves stocked with all of my favorite books. I will collect hardbound books of books I already have in paperback because I want that hardbound. And I know it's more expensive, but I feel like, I need that for my shelf. I want to be able to show it off when people come over. Look at my bookshelf. Look at all the wonderful books I have. Print is
Right.
always going to be there.
So here's Anita's prediction. She thinks that direct sales from indie authors are going to increase as well as authors diversifying their business. We're always talking about that. I think
Yep.
that is certainly important. I think as Evan Gal grows and does his thing, and a bunch of people out there doing their things, Market and Draft to Digital doing his thing, I think we're going to have stories throughout 2022 about diversification and marketing aspects of those things and all of that. And Maddie wants to clarify that not it will take over ebooks, but it will be on the rise. And I can see. Then Regine says, "Okay, with clarification, I can see audio implemented by AI becoming the no-brainer." Yeah, well, I think it's going to be cheaper for people, and it's just going to be cost-effective, and people are going to gravitate toward it. And I also think that the cheats are going to gravitate toward because it's a cheat code in many respects, in my opinion. But uh, this side hustle stuff drives me nuts every time I see a side hustle involving indie authors and taking away from indie authors, and I just, I almost want to, I almost want to report those videos because I just feel like that's not something you should be telling people how to do. That sucks. You're taking money out of hard-earned people's, people who are working for, scraping their knuckles to try and get, some kind of anything from what they're doing, and your little side hustles are just ridiculous with that stupidity. It's just
What about the what is it? I can't stand seeing these pop up, and I watch YouTube all the time, and they pop up. The no content ebooks or the no content books that
yeah, that's one of those side hustles. Yeah,
like, how is that a thing?
yeah. Or the guy that sends you to the library where you can steal 1,000 books. And of course, nobody cares if you steal Stephen King, except Stephen King, maybe, and maybe his publisher. But you're stealing indie books most likely, and that's the thing that sucks. You know, and I'm not advocating stealing traditionally books either. I think stealing is stealing, and you shouldn't do it. But if you're out there and you're just taking because you're looking at an indie and they're trying to charge $4.99 because that's the marketplace for a book, and you don't want to pay less than $1 for it, and it's the way our mentality is right now as a society, as a consumer society. It really irks me. It really bothers me. Because
It's funny and not
yeah.
how in 2020 we all realized how much we needed art and the arts in our
Mhm.
life, and how quickly we all went back to fuck it, you guys aren't worth it, or as a society, not individually, but it was like everyone was celebrating all the artists out there, and
Mhm.
all of the artists too were all willing to give freely with their art and their books, and I remember there were just sales upon sales that indie authors were basically putting their books out for free to keep morale up during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden once it was done, everyone forgot about those artists.
Mhm.
What's a
It's
no content ebook?
Mhm.
Oh, it's like they have a cute cover, and then the rest is notebook space for you to fill in.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
Or worse, they just plagiarize something and just paste it together and try to make something else out of it. So those
And
are the
and
those are the criminal activities that people are
and the
doing.
videos have like thousands of views,
Hmm.
and because
And
you know every
if you read the comments, nobody is discouraging it either, which is really frustrating to me too. So
look, it's very well known that if people can get away with something, they will get away with it. They will try. It's only when
mhm,
people are, get their hands slapped or they get some kind of a punishment that they stop
mhm,
doing things. Even the best of us will always try and get away with something if we can. So
mhm.
I get why they're doing it, but I don't get why they're so popular. And
Yeah.
we're flooding the market that's already flooded with too many books as it is, with no content books or ripped off books that are just making it that much harder for the rest of us who are doing legitimate work or trying as hard as we can with very low budgets to get our work seen. It makes it impossible. Facebook ads are ridiculously expensive. BookBubs are impossible to get these days. Amazon ads take a lot of time to learn. There's so much of a learning curve and a cost scale that we have to go through just to do it legitimately. And then to see this crap just pisses me off.
Mhm. So Rebecca says she predicts audiobooks will die as AI gets better because people can buy books and have their favorite AI read it to them.
That is another option. I know a lot of times when we proofread our books, one of the advices that we're given, the advice that we're given, I can speak really,
Mhm.
is to have the book read to you or read the book. And you could use Siri if you really wanted to, but Siri just doesn't have the inflection. If it did, though, yeah, I could see that replacing as a free audiobook version. And again, if you can do it for free, nobody's going to care to pay for it. So yeah, that would kill audiobooks.
Mhm. Look, though one should have value. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said it right there. You're actually
Writing.
writing
Yeah.
a low con. You're not
This
just
is not.
slapping
Yeah.
a cover on a notebook and saying, "Look, here's a $6 notebook."
Yeah. And you're not. Yeah. You're not going to a slick site and trying to pawn it off as something you did. And when you didn't do anything, to be honest. But all right. So, Maddie, do you want to make a prediction here before I jump in? You're welcome to if you want to. You don't have to. I'm not pressuring you to do so. You can,
Yeah,
but
keep those predictions coming. I'm interested to see what others think is going to happen next
so
year.
so my prediction for 2022 and what we're going to be talking about, I think that we're going to be delving a lot into how antitrust works and lawsuits work, and how certain people are going to uh, put their foot in their mouth or do something that's going to have us talk about it. And uh, I think that's where we're headed. I have one very, very bold prediction, though. I will save for the very, very end of the show, which we are coming
It's
toward.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Spill it, dude.
It's worth ending on, so
Okay. All
I'll
right. Can I
wait
make a
because
prediction then?
yes, please.
I predict, all right, and you guys can quote me on this. I predict that next Saturday, Joe Compton will be on Spilling Ink.
That's a bold prediction right there,
You
everybody.
can quote me on that.
You all have to tune in to see if that happens. But yeah, and I have one last question for you, Katie Salidas. I want you to answer the last
Two
question.
names. I'm in trouble.
Are you having fun doing this show?
Absolutely.
You like doing this
Absolutely.
show?
I do. I love it. And when we talked about it, I mean, how many times had we sat and talked about getting a news show together?
Yeah.
And it was always like, oh, we just got to figure out how to do it. Oh, we just got to figure out the right time. We just got to figure out who would host it. And then it was like, all right, why don't we do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Light bulb moment. And we've been, we've always had, like we said before, we've always had more than enough to talk about. The interaction with the audience, that keeps me going. I enjoy when I know other people are getting value out of
Absolutely.
what's being presented. I spend the time to try and find my articles. You spend the time to find your articles, and the the positive feedback from the audience in real time or in comments later after the fact is like, yeah, this was worth doing. Let's do another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
And I challenge everybody who's watching this after the fact to leave your predictions in the comments below. Smash the like button as always. But, and if you're new here and you just found this place, congratulations. You found Going Now. Subscribe to the channel as well. But leave your prediction in the comments. We will go back and we'll look at them and we'll talk about them. But I want you all to make sure that you do that. So if you're watching this after the fact, you weren't here live. Thank you, Maddie. That means a lot. Please do that, and we want to hear your predictions. So my Super Bowl prediction as we end the show tonight is that you're going to see us again in 2022. We are not going anywhere. We'll be back second week of February. We're going to take a little bit of a break because we need it, and we want to also let because this is a slow time of year for news. Let's be honest. So we want news to kind of build up a little bit. Plus, I'm going to Park City in January and everything. So I think it'll be a good time to talk again in February. So Katie will be back with us, as you heard. I put her on a spot and she said yes. So she'll be back. CL Cannon will be back. And I've already signed her up to join us next year. So we're gonna be doing this again next year. Because why, Katie?
Because it's always time to go indie now.
That's right. Thanks, everybody. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for a great 2021. Hey, if you're around, if you're watching this and you're around New Year's Eve, Going Now will be going live on New Year's Eve. We're just going to hang out. We're not going to do anything formal. We'll talk. Well, we can talk shop and stuff like that. But we can talk about what we enjoyed about Going Now if you want to, too. But whatever. It doesn't matter. We're live Sunday with our last live panel of the year as well for This Week in Indies. So come and join us for that. And we've got more shows coming for sure. A lot more shows actually before the year is over. I got to get my ass in gear and get those out. And December 31st, come hang out with us. And if you guys want to be on camera and hang out with us, that's totally fine. I'll give you the link for that, and you can do that. It's totally open to anybody and everybody. And if you don't, and you want to just hang out in the chat, that's cool too. And we'll see you then soon. All right. Yeah, it was really great. So everybody, I got really, really drunk. You should go back and watch that. But until October, that was the last time I had really, really gotten drunk. So, but anyway, that's it for us. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.